Hello, welcome to the Endless Honeymoon Podcast. You're listening to us. It's me, Moshe Kasher.
I'm in quarantine and I did a smoky eye because this is going to be on YouTube.
You look really nice.
I feel like I have way too much makeup on.
No, you look great.
Like I'm in such a casual zone right now with quarantine.
You know, Natasha, I'll tell you something
I
about
pronounce
you.
it quarantine.
I like that. It's very Marie Antoinette. And I want to tell you something that you may or may not know.
Mm-hmm.
The camera loves you. It's true. You got one of those faces. Like when I'm in bed with you, I look over, I'm like, she's pretty fine. But I see you on the brand new CBS sitcom Broke. And I'm like, that's my wife. That's my wife.
Wait, so you're saying it doesn't hold up I look
right.
better.
That's right. That's what I'm saying.
Like I look bad.
In person, I'm like, I made some bad choices. But on that screen, I'm like, that's her.
Thanks, Moshe.
No, you're beautiful all the time, but the camera does love you. You do have one of those faces where it's like Pladao.
Well, you do too.
Well, that's unnecessary and untrue, but I appreciate the sentiment behind it.
Okay, good. Well, we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, we've gotten past all of our issues, which is a weird thing for this particular episode of the Endless Honeymoon Podcast, because we started getting along really, really well, and now we are going to cash the check that our mouths wrote by calling a marriage and family therapist who we solicited volunteers, and we got a bunch. And
Are we going to regret this?
it could be.
Because now we're getting along. I forgot about that.
Right. What if we end up fighting because of whatever this quack we're about to call says? Who knows? Life is an adventure. I've always said life is a highway, and I want to ride it all night long. That's what I've always said.
All right, well, let's call this. Is it a man?
Oh, that's
a
it?
woman?
We're doing it? Okay.
I don't know. Well, now that we've like switched into that zone, now I'm nervous. So I'm like, okay, let's just call this person.
You're feeling nerves?
A little bit.
Interesting. I feel nothing. I feel flat, emotionally flat. Generally, when I stare into the eyes of our daughter, I say, well, this is an interesting person.
No, but you can cut this out if you want. But couples therapy.
No, we're not cutting it out. Whatever you're about to say.
Well, couples therapy.
The N-word? Wait, we have to cut that out. Hopefully there was a smooth edit just then, and you didn't notice, so we made an edit. But
funny,
damn.
you're making jokes because I'm trying to say something that you don't want me to say, which is...
I don't know what you are about to say.
Well, you are against couples therapy. I've asked you
I'm
about
not.
it. Well, no, I asked you about it, and you said that you have like PTSD from your childhood therapy so that you don't want to see a therapist, and then you just agreed to the thing I wanted so we wouldn't go.
Well,
and then I've always thought of it as a great tool
right,
to just threaten you with it.
Yeah, you use it as a cudgel, which is perhaps why I don't respond well to. If you came to me and you were like, we have some serious issues that I actually want to see a therapist about, I would respond to that differently than you saying like, you know, like, why don't we do X, or why don't you stop doing X? And I'm like, I don't know. And you're like, okay, we should see a therapist. But then I will submit. But yeah, I have some issues. I have some PTSD, some post-therapy stress disorder. But that's because I was gavaged therapy from the age of 3 until I was 16. And I said to myself as a 16-year-old, I will never go back. But I have gone back since then. But I did definitely have some trauma. And my problem is when I go to see a therapist, I spend the first 10 sessions figuring out if they're smart enough to give me advice.
The first 10 sessions?
I've gone to a lot of therapists and not gone back. That's happened a lot.
You have not been to 10 sessions of someone.
Yeah, well, okay, maybe 10 is over. It's exaggerating a bit, but no, I'll do that. I'll be like, who are you? Because that's what you forget about therapists. They're just like everybody else. They're just some person who went to school and got a degree. Same thing with rabbis. Same thing with cops and doctors. You know, you always go like, oh, this person's got this situation well in hand. It's like,
you can't tell in one conversation if someone's smarter than you or has more information and wisdom than you do.
no, and I'll tell you why. Specifically with therapists, I can't tell if it's a real analysis of them or if it's my bias that's screaming at me so loudly that I can't tell the truth from fiction. Does that make sense? I don't know when I'm like, oh, this person doesn't have anything for me, if they really don't have anything for me, or if it's just my little 16-year-old brain going, we don't do therapy anymore.
All right. Well, maybe we do. Maybe we don't. Let's find out.
Let's find out right now.
Can we please call Dr. Erica Holmes?
I don't like this already. I do like the doctor part because I wouldn't want to. If it was like Master Erica Holmes or Bachelor of Arts, Erica Holmes.
Hello, this is Erica.
Hello, Dr. E.
Doctor is my dad. This is just Erica.
Oh, I was
That'll
hoping
do.
I was hoping to speak with your dad. Is he around or?
Not here.
Wait, we're talking. This is the doctor, right?
Doctor was her dad. This is Erica.
Oh, okay.
This is her. Hi, it's Moshe Kasher.
And Natasha
Hey.
Leggero.
How are
Hey,
you?
how's it going? Good.
You
We're
sound
good.
young.
38, youngish.
You sound 28, Erica.
Okay,
Cool.
38 I can deal with.
We were just talking about the fact that when I've gone to see therapists, not to put you in a weird position here, but when I've gone to see therapists, because I went to so much therapy when I was a kid, I spend the first 5 or so sessions figuring out if they can help me, and part of that I just know is my bias. I have problems, and so listen, we're getting into this quickly, but can you help me?
I will try.
All right.
See what we can do.
Are you a listener?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question for you first and foremost. How
Sure.
do you think we do from a therapist's perspective? You're a marriage and family therapist?
Correct. Yeah.
How do we do in terms of our sincere advice giving?
Generally, I think pretty good.
Oh,
I think the
hell
biggest
yeah.
thing, there's some stuff there's been along the road, some stuff where I might have differed, but I think the best thing is listening pretty non-judgmentally. I mean, roasting aside, but
Do you usually, like, when we have a couples dispute, do you usually side with me or with
Oh,
Moshe?
can we change the subject? I actually wanted to bring something else up. No, yeah, that's a good question. Who do you generally, when you hear us talk and hear us fight, what's your reaction to the way we communicate?
it's usually it takes a minute to take the therapist hat off and listen as a listener, but with the therapist hat on, it's usually listening to how you fight, not what you fight about. And there's some good stuff that you do. And then there's some times where you kind of get defensive, but that's what every couple does.
Wait, when you say you, do you mean the collective you or do you mean me?
Collective you.
Okay,
I mean,
good.
mostly you, Moshe, but collective you.
The collective Moshe, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So have you had a spike in business since the quarantine?
I heard you say that on the last episode, and I think the Denver market's a little bit different than LA.
Yeah, they mostly fight about whether it should be Tevas that they wear or whether they should wear Shimano shoes. Is that right?
Yeah, that's the only time where I'm partial to one side or the other. But I think Denver is probably a little bit slower to catch up on getting into therapy in general. And my guess is once things settle down a little bit here after the shock has worn off, then I think the calls are going to be coming in a bit more. But it's not business is booming like I think Natasha's therapist mentioned.
Well, I have a question. Well, like when you are with a couple and like there's one clearly identified asshole, like how do you not just hate that person? How are you still able to maintain professional composure, not just be like, well, this dude's a dick or this woman is just a fucking lunatic?
I get a lot of practice. I mean, really, and I think practicing a lot of being non-judgmental and having empathy and looking for the valid part in each couple, because it's for sure not helpful if I side with someone. It's just going to go off the rails real quick because people can feel that.
Right. Because I saw that show, Couples Therapy on Showtime. Did you watch that?
No, I didn't.
Oh, it's great. But anyway, you watching, you're just like, oh, this is very obvious. This person is the problem here. This person is not. But I guess what you're saying is that's not really the point. The point is, how do they process the problems that they have?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Instead of what you're talking about, it's how you do it. Is usually the biggest part, and usually there's some reason why each party is saying what they're saying or feeling what they're feeling.
Well, that's
so
something
trying to find that.
That's something I've been recognizing lately in quarantine is that like it's like how I'm saying things because you're with these people like for so many hours that You know, it's like tone is very hard to control sometimes, especially because you're living your own personal hell.
Right.
So then all of a sudden there's someone next to you every
In your hell.
second, and then you're just like, the way you speak to them has been building up, or you're annoyed about something else. I don't know.
A best practice in the old days. You remember the old days 5 weeks ago when we used to be able to go outside? Would have been, I need a little bit of space before I can process this communication with this person. I need to like go away, have some alone time, but you don't really have that option anymore. Natasha, for example, woke up this morning and I woke up, Natasha woke up 10 minutes before me, and I was like yawning and saying, "Oh, good morning." And she was like, "Why do I always go get the baby up out of bed before you?" I mean, it was like literally I was in the yawn. I was like, "Oh," and she goes, "Why am I always the one that goes and gets? I just want to be a little bit appreciated in this relationship." And I was like, "Good morning." But
I didn't say in this relationship. I was kind
You
of
said on this
teasing you,
podcast.
but it was I was kind of teasing you, but it's still the first thing that popped out of my mouth.
first words. So,
Yeah.
Erica, how do couples who are in this kind of pressure cooker situation, how do they avoid this sort of snippiness that it results with too much time together?
I think the biggest thing really to do is, one, take really good care of yourself, which again is really difficult. And that includes like acknowledging that this is just a crazy dumpster fire of a situation. So of course you're going to be really stressed. Of course you're going to have a short fuse. But then thinking about what is under your control that you can do, and being thoughtful about that, of activities that you could do, space you need to take, being able to kind of process your emotions and calming your body down. Because if your body's really stressed and
How do you
in fight
calm
or
your
flight,
body down?
the basic things like breathing, doing deep breathing is good. Singing and dancing are good. I mean, cliche therapist stuff that
Singing and dancing,
hear.
that is good, because we did that the other night twice, and with the kid, and it was like so cathartic.
I would hardly say that's a cliche therapy thing to sing and dance when you're in fight or flight. I mean, that's maybe Dr. Cornelius from Soul Train would suggest something like that. I like that.
And we've been singing too and screaming every night at 8:00 when the essential workers, they applaud for the workers. And so we've all been screaming out the window, and it's been very cathartic. And I think that it's an important time to, if there are any chances, to be able to do that.
Okay.
Do you disagree,
Totally.
Mosh?
No, I think it's a great idea. I like that idea, and it's something I haven't thought of before, although it seems really intuitive now that you said it. It's like what happens when we get into a fight is like it all enters into like my body, where I'm like so frustrated that I can't get my point across. Like taking a moment to get that under control, then you could communicate with more ease. I mean, I assume you would agree, Erica, that usually what happens is people fight until their adrenaline wears off, and then they actually start communicating.
Yeah, one of the two. Either they fight or one of them runs away the other direction or kind of shuts down. I mean, if you can't do either of those, then you might kind of shut down, feel really tired and disconnected.
Right.
So yeah, that fight, flight, freeze is definitely going to be there.
I tried
And
the
when
flight.
you're in that spot, yeah, you're going to be like scanning all the time and be like super triggered all the time because you're just looking for threats. Like your body just thinks that you're in danger, and then it's looking for what the biggest threat and how to stay safe. And usually like that goes through some of your old like stories that you might have of looking for, I'm not important, or I'm not respected, people have forgotten about me, I don't matter. It's not fair. All of those kind of things are going to come up as you're super stressed. Just all of those stories are right up at the surface, and then you're ready to go.
Not respected. Somebody must have emailed you about my core issues, Erica, because that's my one.
Not just a good listener.
No, not respected. That's exactly right. And then when you're in that for me anyway, when I'm in that I'm being disrespected mode, I stop being able to process the conversation. I'm only listening for the linguistic areas in the conversation that are disrespectful, rather than having the conversation.
Erica, doesn't that sound like a fun person to argue with?
Amazing. Yeah, I would I would be intimidated for sure.
Right, and you're like a professional therapist. It's really annoying. That's the problem, it's just hard, because everyone has their own style.
Right.
So if you just figure out how your styles can work, and now Moshe and I have an understanding that like he is going to be more like specific and verbose and have this whole like analytical thing behind, I don't know. And also you're just naturally really good at knowing how to talk. Like you're like an orator.
Yeah, professionally so, yeah.
Well, Natasha and I, when we were in an argument the other day, this was actually, I thought really, we had a nice breakthrough, which is that I have this thing that I like to do, which is that I like to go back into our conversation and tell Natasha the way that she could have said something where I would have responded better. And so I'll say, well, if you had merely posed the question in this way, and then I read her the question.
And he's of course right, but I didn't think of it like that.
I don't know if I'm right or not, but Natasha said in the middle of one of these arguments, like, I hate when you do that. Please don't ever do it again. And we came to an agreement. I realized you were right saying that, because how obnoxious is it to be like, oh, if only you had said it from my brain.
I didn't say I hate when you do that. I just said I'm never going to say it like that. So you just need to like understand what I mean. You know what I mean. You just rephrased it.
Right.
So I'll work on my tone, but like.
Right. Anyway, I agreed to stop doing that, to like play back. Yeah. That seems like a bad communication technique, right, Erica? To go
in the middle of it, sure, yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Afterwards, if you were going to come back and like have kind of a post-mortem on it, and both of you are kind of calm and collected and know that you're back kind of on the same team and that this isn't round two, you could probably have some of like, hey, I'm sorry, I could have done this better, or it would have been helpful if you had done this. So for next time, here's how we can kind of learn and grow from it. But
exactly.
Imagine in the middle of it, maybe not the most helpful.
Yeah, the only message you're really giving a person when you do that is like, I would have gotten this one right, but you weren't able to do that. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. So you're saying you can still impart the wisdom that you have on it, like the next day. Say, generally speaking, I don't like to be talked to like that, but just wait 12 hours or something.
Yeah,
Erica,
yeah.
Erica, are there any situations where a couple comes in and you're like, give me an example of something like a common issue that seems big where you're like, oh, I can solve this. This is solvable. And is there also, second part of the question, is there anything that people bring in where you're like, oh, this is, like first session, like, oh, this relationship's over, based on the issue alone?
Issue alone, I don't think that there's been one issue alone, but it's more like if one person's 100% checked out, like not feeling anything, maybe they've only just stayed around because it's like financially easier to not get a divorce, but they're like emotionally checked out.
That's where I'm at.
Or they're like that's where you're at?
Well, she's got this CBS sitcom and it's just like not a good time.
Moshe.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that would be like if one's not motivated, like, because it takes two to get through an issue. So if one's definitely out the door, then that's, you can't really come back from that. Or, I mean, they can try, but that makes it challenging.
And what's an issue that couples bring you that seems monolithic, but that you look at and go, no problem, we can get through this one? What's a common one?
I don't know if there's any that are like easy, but everyone comes in saying that communication's the problem. So that's a big one where it can be like, okay, well, we can definitely figure out some better ways to communicate around that. An affair, if both people are wanting to work on it, is something that could get through. Again, if both parties are motivated,
right,
to talk about it.
What about this? What if you had a couple where they've been together 7-8 years almost, and the man in the relationship had never achieved orgasm? That's the situation that I'm in right now.
Hypothetically?
And it's hypothetical, but it's true for me, and it's literally true for me. So, but it's hypothetical. You think that's bad?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a sex therapist, but it doesn't sound good.
Oh, okay. So that non-judgment went right out the window. I see. Okay.
It sounds like it'd be like really frustrating and painful for everyone.
It's painful. I'll tell you. It's a big buildup. Tosh, didn't you wanted to ask about?
Oh, I have a question. So, it sounds like you're not really talking to people right now, though. You don't have clients while you're in quarantine.
Oh yeah, we're doing everything's on Zoom right now, so we're just doing everything remotely.
Oh, okay. So you're dealing with people and their quarantine issues, obviously.
Mhm. Yeah,
And
all day.
I think that the phone is like something that now more than ever. I was already really annoyed at like the amount of phone use, but now it's like I just feel like the amount of news. Like I heard someone describe it as mainlining the news, and it's like I think that we got to put that to a limit. And every day that I like don't have my phone because I've been like running around with my kid, like I'm like, wow, life is really fine, and then is like the second you look at it, and then you're also being antisocial by looking at it constantly when you're quarantined. So do you have any thoughts on that?
Here's my diatribe. Oh shit, it's supposed to be a question. So thoughts? No, but I get. Are you asking though?
Are you gonna rephrase what I said now as a question?
Sorry,
it's okay. You can.
I was just wondering, do you have any specific suggestions for how to limit phone use in a time where it feels like more than ever we're all staring at our phones all day?
See, you did phrase that better. You're good at that.
Well,
I was just trying to have her like catch my vibe.
Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think there for sure has to be some limits, and that can be something that you just be really cognizant and intentional about yourself, or ask for some accountability, or there's apps or whatever that can help you kind of put some of that stuff down. But the news definitely is going to keep you in that fight or flight because it's terrible. And it just keeps coming at you, and there's not that much you can do about it. So just feeling that hopeless, helpless, out of control, like there's danger all the time, like that's gonna really kind of decrease your emotional fuse just right off the bat there. And then the toll that it takes too in terms of like being disconnected or like not emotionally engaged with people who you are close with. And that, because we're such social creatures who are wired to connect, like when we notice that the person, like our tribe, is not connected to us, like if like Natasha, you and Moshe are sitting together and like he's on the phone or you're on the phone, like that's just gonna make one or both of you feel triggered anyway, because it's like, hey, I feel really isolated, really alone, really disconnected, and you're just going to be more triggered just from there. So it's like a double whammy if you're on the phone all the time. So I think having some limits and talk as a couple of if there's some like phone free time that you could spend together.
Just having limits, not even as a couple, just for yourself. I
for
think
sure.
Like 15 minutes of news is probably good. Like don't watch CNN.
Wait, did you just say 20?
I said plenty.
Oh, I thought you said 20. Now that would have been very funny. 15 minutes is good. You're like, actually, I'm a doctor. I'm a therapist. It's 20 minutes.
And why would anyone have CNN on in their house? What is wrong with you?
I mean, I'm not qualified for that, but
no,
I have a question.
It just sounds so horrifying.
I've got a question. Maybe you can help us with this. What if a partner had a spouse that only would talk during the dialogue parts of a movie? So if she has a question about the movie or the plot, she'll wait until the characters are talking. There'll be a silent part, and she'll be totally silent watching, or she or he will be watching the film. But then when the characters start talking, then she says like, "Wait, what is this person doing here?" or something like that. What do you do with that?
Another hypothetical.
Yeah.
That would be one we're probably having one of those conversations about what's helpful, and explaining kind of what that does, if it's annoying or bothersome or whatever, and then having some sort of agreement on how to, like, if this unnamed partner.
See, I tried what you said to tell her that it's annoying, and I say that like I say that's annoying. That's so annoying. I say it like 10 times to make sure she really hears me, and that has backfired, I would say.
But I think
I don't really care. I think it's because I feel like you annoy me doing things, so I'm like, that's just sometimes I have a question, I'm just gonna ask it.
I like that. All right. Natasha, do you have any other questions? I am curious, to make it more specific, if you can think of anything. Can you tell us like what, in terms of what you've heard, the way we communicate, what we do, if anything comes to mind, what we do well and what we struggle with?
I have heard you both apologize and take accountability and praise the other person a lot, even in the context of fights that you've had. And I think that that's awesome. I think one thing that probably needs some work, and like every couple needs some work, every person needs some work, is the slowing down and listening, especially when things start to get heated. Kind of checking yourself and being like, hey, I'm getting triggered or I'm having a hard time listening, and slowing things down, I think would probably help quite a bit, so you don't go round and around in circles with both of you feeling unheard and kind of digging your heels in on stuff.
No, I totally disagree with that, and I totally think that suggestion is out of left field and probably disrespectful.
Cool.
Just kidding. No, I think that is really good. Always, right? Always listening more is helpful, and being quiet and not being reactive.
Yeah. Also, I was listening, or I was reading something the other day about raising a kid, and like they were saying like talking and listening to them, and I was like, I'm always talking to her, but I don't know if I'm not always listening to her. I'm always like trying to direct her to do all, and I think just listening in general. Yeah. Saying less,
listening more. It's hard.
Saying less when my husband's watching a movie, I guess.
Yeah, that would really be helpful. That would honestly be great. Okay, before we go, and thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you taking time. You're a professional and you get paid for stuff like this. But what are any best practices just generally for people that are quarantined right now, single or in a relationship, for like self-care? What suggestions do you have for our listeners?
I think the first thing is just to, again, acknowledge this is a super just crazy unknown situation. So giving yourself some permission to not be okay all the time, not be productive, lose your shit every once in a while, that's okay. But then being really preventative with setting some boundaries, and taking a lot of time for self-care. And that can include talking to friends and family and partners and all of that, but whatever it is that refuels you. Because everything's so exhausting right now, whatever there can be to kind of get refueled so that you can go back in and keep fighting.
Awesome. Yeah, it is crazy that we are doing less than we've ever done before, and I feel more tired than I ever have. I don't know what that is, but it's psychic tiredness, I guess. Erica, thank you so much for joining us. Tosh, any final thoughts?
I mean, I personally don't believe in apps to stop your internet use. I think it's something that you have to...
I believe in you, Natasha. You can do it.
No, I mean, I just think that you got to disconnect from the phone a little more than that.
Who are you talking to right now?
Me. I'm talking to me.
I'm talking to me.
I mean, you're not even that bad, Moshe. I asked him to not have his cell phone at dinner, and he doesn't.
We're doing what we can.
Yeah.
Erica, how are you doing? We never asked you that. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing as best I can. I think I'm trying trying to walk the walk, and yeah.
Do you have to put on a sane face when your clients call in on Zoom? Wait, one question, serious question. Have you done a session without pants on yet on Zoom?
I have developed what I like to call the work mullet. So professional shirt, and then I'm social distancing from pants right now. I'm wearing shorts all the time.
Oh, awesome. Well, a casual therapist is my kind of therapist. You've been very helpful, and I really appreciate your input. Thank you so much for letting us call
Yeah, my pleasure.
Singing and dancing. I'm going to start doing it every day.
Everybody sing and dance. Okay, thanks again.
All right.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Thought she was smart.
How can you start dancing? She was good.
Yeah.
How can you start dancing and singing if you're alone?
How can you start?
You got to put on your favorite stuff.
No, the better question is, how do you start dancing and singing in the middle of a fight where your fight or flight instincts are up and you're feeling disrespected? Do you do the cha-cha right in the middle of a screaming match?
I know. It's so hard to it's so easy to get inspired and so easy to lose the inspiration. How often do you
have a revelation in quarantine.
Yeah.
Like, this is my new way.
Or in anything in life,
Right.
you know, you can, and then like you would listen to a teacher, or you listen to, you know, something inspiring, and you're changed, and then you just forget it.
She said that we acknowledge each other often, compliment each other, and apologize with full accountability. And I think that is a pretty good job that we're
You
doing.
remembered that? I was going to write it down.
That's pretty good stuff. Well,
Yeah,
we
that's
put it
good.
on the podcast, so now we can listen back to it. Speaking of listening back, why don't we move on to listening to some secrets?
Oh man, I forgot to ask her about the birthday cake.
Oh, well, I mean, you want to talk about that? We already talked about it.
I know, but I want to get a professional opinion if I'm crazy. She seemed like very rational.
You want to call her back?
Let's just ask her about that. I just want to ask her if it's okay for someone to not
Okay.
care about gifts.
Fine. Let's call her back. Dr. Erica Holmes, part 2.
Hello, it's Erica.
Hey, it's Natasha again.
Hey.
And Moshe.
Hello.
Hi. So I forgot. I wanted to ask you what your thoughts were on the fact that in general, Moshe doesn't really, quote, believe in birthday present giving.
You're
And
already setting this up with a lot of like little stank and perspective.
And I just think that, like, you know, really recognizing someone on their birthday is like, I don't know, like presents, you know, like we already don't really have Christmas. And I think a birthday present, it can be very romantic, but he's kind of like of the mindset that he just likes to give presents when he feels like it.
Erica, if you could see me right now, I am singing and dancing, just so you know, off camera. I'm
Perfect.
singing. Wait, did you have a specific question, or you just wanted to kind of give an analysis of what I think about gift giving?
Well, because then
Did you hear our fight about the
quarantine came.
did.
He baked me a chocolate cake, which was, he's an amazing cook, so it was like so delicious. But then he said I couldn't get you a gift because we're in quarantine. And I'm like, but you just got like 2 pounds of sandpaper delivered to you from Amazon for like a home project. Like, so that's not really a reason why you can't get someone a gift. And then last year, like I feel like every year I kind of have to like needle him to get me something. And then one year he did really good. He got me a sauna. That was amazing.
Oh,
like
nice.
like it was off Craigslist, but it was still like, you know, a little like standout one. I have it outside. I love it.
Yeah.
Did you have a question, Natasha?
Do you think it's okay that he just got me a cake because we were in quarantine for my birthday?
So I think that's one where you guys, it sounded like you bumped up into two kind of triggers for each of you. It sounded like Natasha wanting to feel special and cared for and thought of, and like the most important thing, like, hey, if you're on Amazon all the time, shouldn't you also be thinking about me? Like, that is super valid. And I think
And
it
I
bumps
was
up
like,
against like Moshe
my
was
fear
trying.
of a gold digger, of somebody just trying to get. Right? Is that what you're gonna say?
But I think that it was what it sounded like was when you brought that up, that it might have been a disrespect, or it's not good enough, or you're not seeing my effort, or don't tell me what to do, or some of those kind of things that might be triggers for him. And I think both of you got stuck there was when I was listening, kind of what I was hearing. And I don't think either of you is necessarily right on that. I think the more that you can talk about what it means, like what the cake meant to make it, or like what the gift would have meant. Like, I think that might
If
be a more
only you would have
fruitful-
gotten me. No, but Moshe, I mean, the reason why I press him to get me gifts is because he's so, you know, he's such an interesting, fascinating person. He has such great style that whenever I've forced him to get me a gift, he's gotten me like the coolest things. Like,
So it is like for the stuff.
yeah.
You're like curious what the stuff is. I mean, Erica.
One year he went vintage shopping and got me a bunch of different hats, and then another year he went and bought a bunch of records for me that were like records from like music we had listened to
Wait.
together.
Erica, do you
that's
know why she knows all of the historical gifts I've given her? Because this week I've been telling her about them. I've been like, one year I got you this, one year I got you that.
You got me that thermometer that it was like a French thermometer
sure.
that I hung up on the wall.
Here's the thing about me, Erica, and I'm sorry we called you again, but this is fun, so I'm not really sorry. And what are you really doing, right?
Yeah, nothing.
But for me, a gift is only meaningful if it's meaningful. A gift for the sake of giving a stuff to a person feels valueless. It just feels like, oh, here's your widget of merchandise that I have gotten you. So to me, like, if I see something and I'm like, Natasha would love this, then I'm gonna get it. If I'm just like perusing Amazon, going like, oh, maybe this, frankincense diffuser, from Etsy would suffice.
No, but sometimes it's just like when you think about someone and you think about giving them a gift,
you maybe bake them a cake.
Yeah, I mean,
that's valid.
Not wrong. That took a lot of thought and effort, it sounds like.
I mean, it was delicious and it was from scratch.
But Erica, what's another word for not wrong? If you were going to say not wrong and let's say one word, what would be the word that came to mind?
I mean, undeniably correct.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, I'll take it. Moshe wins.
No, she's not really saying that. So it's basically what could have happened is we could have communicated better about what it meant for Natasha to get a gift rather than just a baked good, and I could have communicated better what it meant for me to make that cake.
Moshe, when's my birthday?
Okay, we're out of time, but your birthday is in March.
What, do you know the date?
It's late March. It's in late March. It's either the 26th or the 27th.
It's the 26th. But he had, and this is another thing, he had a road date booked for my whole birthday.
Oh, so she was nursing a resentment about a gig that got canceled due to the quarantine. But she was still mad that I took the word. We went to
like July, for your birthday last year, we all went to Mexico and had a big fun time.
It was my 40th.
So what? On people's birthday, they like to do something. They don't want their husband in Rochester or wherever you were going.
No, the truth is I don't really respect birthdays. That is true. You care more about them than I do.
I don't care about them. I just like to be celebrated, I guess. So do you.
I would rather celebrate you on a Tuesday than on a specific day that just feels arbitrary.
What do you think of that?
I think it's one where you guys have to, I don't think either of you is necessarily, again, being therapist here, neither of you is necessarily right. It's talking about what the meaning is for it, kind of communicating ahead of time what some of the expectations are, and then being really thoughtful instead of trying to be right on your side, try and see what the other person needs or wants or feels, and try and see their side. And usually when someone feels heard, they're more likely to kind of be able to listen to you better too. And then you can, once you both are feeling heard, you can probably problem solve it of hey, well, the expectation is birthdays are important. And Moshe, you want her to feel special and cared for, and just for in and of itself, and also because when she's not, that's a stressful situation and you're likely both going to get in a fight because of it, and no one wants that. You're in a 3-legged race, so if one of you falls down or feels hurt, then both of you are going down. So talking about what to do about it, what would be helpful, and what would, being thoughtful, what would make the other person feel most cared for in that situation. Next time, again, what can you learn from this one, and how can you grow next time and problem solve together to be on the same team with it.
I think what I realized just now is that every year I realize the few days before her birthday that she really likes a gift, and usually I'm able to run out and get something really cool. But it takes a full year. So every year when it's about her birthday, I care so little about birthdays that I have forgotten.
You did order me a Kindle last year. Thank you.
That I have forgotten that birthdays are important to her. And so
it's not that birthdays are important to me. I just I like to look at a thing sometimes to remind me of my love. I like a cool cape, or because you would buy me something cool.
Cape is one,
or a record, or
cape is one letter away from cake. when you think about it.
Or like, like when someone gives, even if it's cheap, it's like a little like necklace. It's like a token, but it's like a token of a period in your life. Like, oh, he gave that to me when we were in quarantine.
Sure.
Yeah, like very sentimental, it sounds like.
But I'm not that sentimental. But I just like Moshe.
And stuff. She likes sapphires. Is that weird? She said next year you better get me a sapphire. Do you think that's weird?
Not say that.
I also think that because there was something about being in quarantine for me where I was like, well, I just decided in my brain like a gift. Amazon feels like the least romantic place on earth to get a gift. And so I was like, well, I can do something kind of quarantine-y and folksy and kind and with a lot of effort. I'll make this cake. And then
Moshe, you won.
No, not that. But then hearing that you were disappointed and wanted a gift,
disappointed.
I guess that part made me.
I didn't want a gift. It just made me remember that you never liked to get me gifts, and I think that's funny. And the fact that you said you couldn't get me one because we were in quarantine, I was just disputing that because we're getting packages.
So this whole time it was a gag. So when it was like 2:00 in the morning, and you woke up out of a cold sleep and we're like, where's my fucking gift, puto?
Right. It was just like, me it was definitely a low moment, but I think that we're all just kind of like ruminating in a way, and I was ruminating.
Yeah.
Here's what I think. Erica, what do you think of this?
It happens.
Sure.
I'm going to set a Siri reminder for 1 month before her birthday, an ongoing reminder that says Natasha really likes gifts. Get her something for her birthday. I think that'll solve the problem.
Do it. Why not?
All right.
Can I ask you one question, Doctor?
Sure.
Do you like gifts?
Yeah, why not? They're great. It's nice to have, to feel like someone thought about you and put effort into it. I think they're
go
great.
into the who doesn't category. Only Moshe, who also loves gifts.
I mean, what is happening right now? Thank you, Erica.
Okay, bye. Thank you.
Yeah,
Sorry to
no
bother
problem.
you again.
We'll call you in about 15 minutes.
Please, I'll be on standby.
Okay.
And do you have a plug if you're in Denver and you need a good family therapist?
Does it work like that? Do you plug
I don't know. She said her business wasn't
Totally,
booming.
why not?
Let's go. Yeah.
I'm at Colorado Couple and Family Therapy at coloradocft.com.
And you don't even have to be in the Denver area now. You could zoom in from Tallahassee or Anchorage or Tahiti or anywhere that you're living with someone where you're baking them a beautiful cake and all they want is some Escape by Calvin Klein.
Absolutely.
All right,
Okay,
thanks again. Bye-bye.
Yeah, have a good one. Bye.
Honestly, Moshe, that cake it was so memorable and so delicious. It was a beautiful gift. It really was.
Let's listen to some secrets. Folks, we're about to go into your favorite part of the podcast, which is our ad reads. But listen, these sponsors are the reason that this podcast exists in the first place. And not only that, every one of them makes a product that we stand behind and think is freaking awesome. So if you can afford it and you need these products, go ahead and buy them because they make this podcast happen. Hey, Tosh.
Yeah, Moshe.
I've noticed something about you recently.
What's that?
Well, usually your face is covered with some sort of soot, like you're a chimney sweep or something like that. But right now, your skin on your face...
That's my smoky eye.
Yeah, it's a smoky face. Right now, your face is straight up glowing. It's blinging. What's happening?
Well, I did take a shower today with my daughter, and we both used the Milky Jelly Cleanser by Glossier.
Milky Jelly Cleanser? What is that?
Well, I love Glossier anyway. I subscribe to their makeup. I love their lip glosses. I love their lipstick, and I also love their Brow Boy. Remember when you told me my eyebrows looked really good?
Oh, Brow Boy. I use that on my mustache
You used it
one
on your
time to make it look a
mustache.
little bit more firme.
But Milky Jelly Cleanser is one of Glossier's top-selling products. In 2015, Glossier asked their community, what's your dream face wash? They took the hundreds of responses, and they got an inspiration and went to work. A year later, Milky Jelly Cleanser was released.
It's luxurious. It's creamy. It's got a gel formula that makes washing your face an elevated experience. It washes away oil, dirt, makeup. It's gentle on your eyes and great for all skin types. I'm looking at my wife right now. Her face is blinging.
Hypoallergenic, non-irritating, cruelty, and paraben-free. So, Get that glowy, dewy skin for yourself by visiting Glossier.com/podcast/honeymoon.
Hold on. I don't want to just tell them to buy it. I want to offer them a discount. Right now, our listeners will get 10% off their first order at Glossier.com/podcast/honeymoon. That's Glossier, GLOSSIER.com/podcast/honeymoon. 10% off. Certain exclusions apply.
Let's do some secrets.
So during this whole quarantine thing, I'm living with my boyfriend. We've realized that we've both gained a little weight, and so we're supposed to be dieting, but when he goes to work, I've just been sneaking chocolate. And today I just I straight up ate an entire bag of popcorn by myself, and like halfway I wasn't even enjoying it that much, but it just felt like this glorious kind of freedom I had. And even though like I could stop the diet, but I don't know, quarantine's probably just getting to me. Ugh. All right, bye.
Didn't Anthony say that we're all going to have like a quarantine 15 and then...
Yes, I honestly think it's possible that when we come out of quarantine, everyone will have gained a proportionately exactly same amount of weight, and we won't even notice that the entire beauty standards and weight standards will have shifted like 14%, and we'll just be like, oh, that's what a skinny person looks like that now. A fat person looks like that now, and nobody will even notice, and we'll just carry on with society. So give yourself a break. Eat the popcorn. Chew the chocolate. Do your thing.
Hey guys, love the show. My secret is about my dad. He had a stroke about 6 weeks ago, and he's doing really well, but he is on his phone all the time and has no idea what he's really doing and sends gibberish messages and pictures and weird stuff. And today, he sent me a picture of my mom's boobs. And I told my sister, and I tried to test out deleting a picture from a text thread, and it only deletes it on my end. So I deleted it, and I'm just going to play really dumb and not tell my mom because I think she would kill him and want to kill herself. But that's my secret. Love you guys. Bye.
I mean, you should be lucky that you live in a family where your mom is sending, or your dad has pictures of your mom's tits on his phone, I guess.
I love the idea of these old parents sending each other titty pics and stuff like that. That's really nice. He has a stroke. She's like, you know what would make you feel better? Picture these titties. These firm gilf titties right now is what you need. I also like that she's like, he's doing really well. Everything's fine. He did send me a picture of my mother's beaver, but other than that, everything seems to be really working.
Recovering really well.
I do think there's something sweet about that, though. Old folks sending each other nudes.
I mean, we're old folks to 10-year-olds. You know what I mean? It's like, or to 15-year-old. Like,
maybe we should send some 10-year-olds pictures of your tits.
No, I just mean it's all relative.
Sure.
They don't think they're old. They're like 60, 70.
You don't think 70-year-olds think they're old?
I mean, probably most of them do. I don't know. Probably a lot of them don't because they don't want to. I don't know.
You think you'll send me pictures of your tits when you're 70?
I would send you whatever part of me looks the best. Mm-hmm. I'd probably send you pictures of that.
I'm a pass. I'm just kidding.
That's so rude.
I'm joking. I would love
when you were 16. All right.
What?
When you were 16, if someone was like, do you want to see a 40-year-old chick's tits? You'd be like, ew.
No, I wouldn't have at all. Incorrect.
What about 60?
Now we're more. My sexuality hadn't developed enough at 16 to know that I would think that was hot.
Okay, but you draw the line at 70.
Nah, I'll take a 70-year-old. It's all good. Give me them titties. No matter what. You know? There's still titties.
Okay, let's hear another one.
Hi, Moshe. Hi, Natasha. My secret is that I've been masturbating to Louis C.K. post Me Too. It kind of makes me feel like a shitty millennial woman. But whatever, you know. All right, hope you're safe. Bye.
What? That's crazy. Well, first of all, I want to say that Louis would appreciate that specific thing. I mean, if there's anything he would appreciate, it would be that.
And what do you look at? Do you look at his photos online?
Is it
or do you do it to his jokes? Like while he's talking, you're like
Is it because
rubbing yourself down on your bed?
Right.
Do you use anything?
I wonder if
Oils?
she has like a full size cutout of him, and she puts him in a corner and stands in front of the door, and then jerks off to that, so that it feels like he can't escape or something like that.
I remember I counted one night like 21 posters of Michael Jackson up in my bedroom.
Did you ever jerk it to him?
I think that was before I jerked
Right.
it, but I still like wanted my room surrounded by his image. But it is interesting, like now, what do? You don't have a poster of someone.
But it sounds to me like she's not just first of all, the idea of masturbating to any stand-up comedian is fucking horrifying and baffling. Like, what is wrong with you? Dream bigger. But second of all, it sounded like she was doing it because of what he'd been accused of, not because of his comedy. Or I need more information. And is it to his specials, or is it to the idea of him masturbating to her? I gotta know more. But whatever it is, you a freak, girl, and I like that. I like that you're a freak.
Hey guys, I'm calling from the garage because I'm now never alone. I work from home and I have for a long time, but now I have a elementary school aged kid and my husband here all the time. And to be honest, what I miss the most is masturbating during the day to let off stress. And now I can't do that in the most stressful time that I can recall, so that sucks. Also, my husband's decided now's the time to detox his armpits from deodorant, so super hot.
Okay, here's what she needs to tell him to not do that right now. That's not fair.
I never even heard of detoxing your armpits from deodorant. Is that a thing? Is that a process you have to go through?
I mean, I don't know. I stopped using deodorant, but I never really needed it. But I do think that if you use it a lot, you need it.
That sounds like the folk wisdom that her husband believes in too.
I don't know. It worked for me, but I never really smelled to begin with, so I don't know.
Detoxing from deodorant.
But here's what she needs to do. She needs to tell him to not do that.
Okay, what about the masturbation?
And then she needs to fuck him in the day.
What if she doesn't want to fuck? She wants to masturbate. There's a difference between fucking and masturbation, which is that there's no pressure to perform.
I know. She needs to tell him. She needs to say, you can either lick my pussy or at this time,
you dirty minx.
or I'm going to masturbate. I'm going to be in the garage.
She doesn't.
You can't say that.
She wants it as a pressure release. I know what she should do.
Okay.
It's super obvious. You don't see it?
No.
Louis C.K. just dropped a brand new special. It's available on the site right now. I think only for $5. So download that. You'll get raring to go, and you can jerk it till the moon comes up. Well, let's take another call. What do you think?
Okay. Let's take a call.
Hey, Tosh.
Yeah, Mosh.
Remember the other day when we opened up the mattress for our little daughter and she squealed with delight and jumped upon it?
It was very cute.
It was very cute. And right now, if you aren't sleeping on a good mattress, it is a mistake. And the mattress that we recommend is the Helix mattress. Our daughter approves.
Helix has a sleep quiz that takes just 2 minutes to complete and matches your body type and sleep preference to the perfect mattress for you.
If you like a mattress that's really soft or firm, you sleep on your side, your back, or your stomach, or you sleep hot, with Helix there's a specific mattress for each and everyone's unique taste.
We took the quiz and we got something that was firm. Here's what we did. We have something that's firm, but then I usually like it a little softer, but Moshe's back needs it firm. So then we got a firm with a soft top.
But you don't have to take our word for it. Helix was awarded the #1 best overall mattress pick of 2019 and 2020 by GQ and Wired magazine. Listen, we're not just telling you to get it. Let's offer you something crazy. Just by the way, they have a 10-year warranty. You can try it out for 100 nights risk-free. They'll pick it up for you if you don't like this mattress, but you won't need to go there because you will love this mattress. Natasha, what do you want to offer our listeners if they get a Helix mattress?
Helix is offering up to $200.
That's a lot.
Off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows
200
for our listeners.
Plus 2 pillows?
At helixsleep.com/honeymoon. That's Helix, HELIX, sleep.com/honeymoon for up to $200 off.
Hey, Tosh.
Yeah, Mosh?
I have noticed lately that you've been wearing some shoes that look good, but I have one question.
Yes.
Are they made from landfill products?
Actually, the shoes you're referring to are Rothy's, and they're made from recycled plastic water bottles.
Well, that's good because there's too many of those water bottles and not enough dope shoes.
It's no surprise that Rothy's best-selling shoe has over 3,000 perfect reviews.
Make that 3,001 because when I see you in them, I think they look great.
Rothy's comes in an ever-changing array of colors, prints, and patterns, and they're available in a range of styles. I like the black flats, personally.
Somebody recently on the Yahoo editor called them the most comfortable flats they've ever owned. I mean, if you can't trust a Yahoo editor, who can you trust?
Plus, Rothy's always comes with free shipping and free returns.
You've worn them. Are they the most comfortable shoes?
They're very, like, it's almost like not wearing shoes.
I love it. It's almost like wearing an environmentally friendly, unbelievably comfortable, stylish pair of shoes by Rothy's. So right now, you can go to rothys.com/honeymoon and get yourself some of these dang shoes.
Check out all the amazing shoes and bags available right now at rothys.com and go to rothys.com. That's rothys.com/honeymoon. Style and sustainability meet to create your new favorites. Head to rothys.com/honeymoon today.
Why don't we do another call? Let's call Mar in Orlando.
Hello?
Mar.
Hi, Mar.
Mayor. Hey, what's up?
Mayor.
Sorry.
I was going to say, you're in Orlando. Mar, isn't that Spanish for the sea?
Yeah.
So sad to be in Florida and not be able to look out at the Mar. But you know what? You're the mayor. So what's up? Why'd you contact us?
Yeah. So, well, number one, I hope you guys are surviving your quarantine. I feel like it's my duty to ask you, how's that going?
We're going. Thank you for asking. No one's ever asked, actually. You know, not one caller has ever asked us how we are.
We're good.
This week we're really good.
Moshe baked me a cake 2 weeks ago.
Okay. Anyway, no, we've gotten past the snip phase, and we think we're into a new transition phase of peace and harmony.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, third eye open and all that bullshit. That sounds
Exactly. Our third eyes are open. And how are you doing?
I'm good. The reason why I called is that I live with my partner it's a very loving and caring relationship, and I wouldn't want to be quarantined with anybody else. But there's been, when you're with someone 24/7, you start noticing all their weird little habits. And don't get me wrong, I have my fair share just like anybody else. But I'm just particularly horrified by the food habits.
Can you tell us about them?
Ugh, that's the worst.
Yeah, for example, my partner last week just opened a can of sweetened condensed milk and then drank it like it was Gatorade.
That is truly irredeemable.
Out of the can?
Sweetened condensed milk from the can.
So do you guys have the same taste in food? Before this happened, would you guys go out to eat and stuff, or how would you eat dinner together every night?
I mean, I'm a vegetarian Jew and he's Cuban, so that doesn't really mesh too well. But we, you make it work. I can always eat a breadstick or something. I'm not going to be like that bitch.
Is this a serious relationship?
Yeah.
Are you guys going to get married?
Well, I mean, if we survive the quarantine and I can figure out how to not be repulsed by this particular habit.
So did you used to not see him eating all the time? Do you just see him eating more?
No, we'd have serious meals together typically, and we do spend a lot of time together even pre-COVID. And he's actually a really good cook. It's just when you're around someone all the time, you start noticing how they snack throughout the day. And I can't.
Oh, you didn't live with him before the quarantine?
Well, yeah, we do, but not this intensely.
Right.
She said she sees him snacking all day long.
What else, though? What else? Any other gross things that he's done?
Okay, so we're going to circle back to the sweetened condensed milk. I saw him also, on another occasion, mix in, cream cheese to it.
Into the milk?
Yes.
I'm going to throw up.
That's a dairy freak right there. You got yourself a Cuban dairy freak.
And he's the only person I know that is fanatical about gefilte fish. And I'm I don't even know what to say.
Interesting.
Wait, why would you put cream cheese in?
Gotta get the
condensed
creamier
milk?
Condensed milk. It's not milky enough.
I'm honestly I don't think you should marry him.
Natasha's go-to stock line.
No, but seriously, I almost that is so disgusting.
You almost hurled? Did you almost hurl?
Natasha, you and me both. When confronted by the jury, he said that he was trying to recreate a Wawa smoothie.
A what?
A Wawa smoothie?
What's a Wawa smoothie?
Oh, I guess you guys don't have that. You guys live in California, right?
Yeah. Is that a Florida thing?
No, it's like a New Jersey thing that kind of migrated its way down here. It's like a gas station that you're not going to get some horrible disease if you like use the bathroom there. It's like, and they also have like food and stuff. I don't know, it's like a convenience store. It's irrelevant.
But wait, do they have smoothies made of cream cheese and condensed milk at Wawa Smoothies? What is happening in Florida?
Honestly, I have no idea.
I have an important question. What did you say when you saw him do that? Because that's going to help me with my next step.
I think I kind of blacked out at that point.
Like, you guys don't have a relationship. Like, if I saw Moshe doing something that repulsive, I would be like, I mean, to me, I don't know. That just sounds like putting cheese into milk. It just feels like kind of
feels like a natural combo to me, but I'm a dairy freak. I'm a JDF.
No, but if you could make a joke out of it, that would be, you know, that would be kind of cool. And then you could kind of start to slowly tell him, honey, I do think that is like, you know, can you kind of keep your, because like, you know, everyone does kind of gross things. And I think if you can make it into a joke, it works.
Yeah, you know what? When I made a transition from that vape onto the Nicorette gum, and I had about a month there where the nicotine content was affecting my my nervous system such that I was burping a lot. And I couldn't explain it, but it was happening.
I definitely let him know.
And she let me know in a way that was firm, yet embarrassing. And I definitely was upset about the way she said it, but I did change the behavior. I mean, my thoughts here are that you guys are in quarantine, and honestly, he's probably stress eating. It's probably not the way he really
you're right.
eats.
That's so true, Moshe.
It's probably not the way he really eats. He probably does. I mean, that's disgusting, obviously, but he's probably like doing some weird.
Well, it's also unsanitary and unsafe to just be drinking out of cans.
It is.
Well, if you could like cut your lip or something.
You could cut your lip. Maybe you should try that. Mayor, tell him you could cut your lip. That'll probably. I think that's the secret, is to know that right now you guys are both seeing
so right.
the ugliest part of each other in a good way. Because this is like, I know for me, I'm walking around in my underwear every 6 days a week.
That's
and
right.
And then on the 7th day, it's 22 hours a day, and it's when we tape this podcast is the only time I put on pants. So I'm just saying, like, cut him a little bit of slack because it's temporary. In a normal world, he would have the decency to grab that condensed milk, go into the bathroom, and crack it open by himself.
But also, I would like to add to that someone annoying you, how they eat in general, like that is something that is only going to grow.
No. I disagree. Don't listen to Natasha. She wants out of her current relationship, and that's what's informing this.
Yeah,
I don't like being I don't know. I'm just kind of particular.
Natasha does have a very low gross out threshold, I would say. But all I'm saying is that I think you guys are not experiencing each other in the real world. You're experiencing each other in the COVID dimension. And in the COVID dimension, a lot of shit is acceptable that isn't acceptable the rest of the year. I think it'll change.
Yeah, it's almost like a pregnancy craving. And, you know, the strange thing is, like, for the most part, he's a pretty good cook, like, to the point where I'm not allowed in the kitchen because I'm a really bad cook. So I feel like I really can't be judging. I just thank you for the validation, though. I was very horrified by witnessing that with my own two eyes, and I don't think I'm ever going to be able to unsee that, like, got milk stain.
No, it's nasty. It's nasty.
I wonder if he, like,
disputing
used
that.
a straw, or, like, did he, like, blend it together?
I think it was blended because I asked him what was going. I didn't see him like physically add it in, but he like mentioned that he had put it in there. So
listen, you want to do something special for him?
I'm nervous.
Well, next time you guys are in the bedroom, you excuse yourself. You say, "Just hold on a moment." You go into the bathroom. You just pop a can of that condensed milk inside of you. Come back in and with a little hole in the can, and just say, "Oh, I think I'm gonna squirt," and you squirt that condensed milk all over him. You'll never see a happier Cuban man in your life. That's a Cuban dairy freak.
There you go.
Okay, well, good luck and hang in there. It sounds like you guys have a good relationship. You're gonna be fine.
Yeah, Natasha's rolling her eyes and shaking her head no. I don't know what that means. Thanks for contacting us, and good luck in your quarantine.
All right. right, rock on. Stay safe. Don't die. Bye.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Rock on.
I mean, honestly, I know that grossed you out, but like in the scheme of things, that seemed like that's pretty low on the totem pole.
Do you remember what I said to you to get you to stop burping?
I think you said stop burping.
Really?
Well, you said it made you feel disrespected, actually. I remember that.
Oh, we got into a fight about it.
No, you said it made you feel disrespected.
Well, it's like, I don't want to feel like I'm living with Homer Simpson.
You know, jokes like that, Natasha, are the reason why I love you.
I love you too.